Dear Boomers, today I'm going to talk about the art of doing nothing. Nothing at all. But there's a certain power in doing nothing, which is what I'm going to be explaining. And basically, these teachings come from Thich Nhat Hanh, who has since passed on at a late age of almost 100. He was one of my favorite teachers for many years, and I have a bookshelf dedicated to all of the books that I have bought with him as an author. And I've read them, pretty much all of them, but I have them in case I want to read them again. So, the art of doing absolutely nothing. That is an amazing thought. Thich Nhat Hanh is responsible for contributing to the culture's vast, now, reservoir of mindfulness. Mindfulness was his big deal. And in fact, during the Occupy Wall Street movement, I went to New York City to see Thich Nhat Hanh and spent the night at the Occupy Wall Street site with all the kids there. It was so much fun. And then I went to see Thich Nhat Hanh. Now, because I hadn't slept a wink, I kind of went into another consciousness as I listened to him, a consciousness that was between sleeping and waking as I listened to him and all the nuns. And there was just something that, oh, wow. It was very, very enlightening. In fact, I think it took me to the quantum field. Yes, it did. So he says that doing nothing is a revolutionary act in a society that values productivity and nothing else. Now, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? We live in a very fast-paced society. We, in the circles that I occupy my circles, which is entrepreneurial people that are striving to make a business online, as well as people who have made it online, and they are all into let's get it done, let's make $1 million. But we do want to create, something that is of value and will help other people in their journey through life. So the countercultural nature of doing nothing is an amazing thought, really. When you contrast a very busy city scene like the Occupy Wall Street, well, actually, the Occupy Wall Street scene in New York City was in the quiet of the night, and the real action takes place during the day. Everybody was sleeping. So I just didn't sleep with them, but I hung out with them while they slept. And then you have a tranquil setting. You contrast a very busy situation in New York City or any major city, San Francisco, any major city at all, London, Paris, very, very fast moving. So then you contrast it with a beautiful, the scene in my backyard is a perfect example. I have a bird bath out there. The birds come and go sometimes, and many, many birds come, many, many birds go. And I have my gourds growing, the magical gourds. We did a talk on that recently. I have a tomato plant. I have hibiscus. And the evening primrose is coming up. So if you go out at dusk, all the lightning bugs are everywhere. And then the evening primrose is actually popping out flowers. That's why they're called the evening primrose. So I enjoy my secret garden, and it has a lot of opportunity for meditation spots. The dogs can chase little bunnies. Pearly is the one who leads the little mosso doing that. And then we have when we are doing nothing, so-called nothing, we are breathing, and we concentrate on our breathing, the breathing in and the breathing out, and we realize in those moments that we are alive. When we are stressed out and we actually stop breathing or have very, very shallow breathing, not if we stop breathing, we would die, but the shallow breathing doesn't get us in touch with anything. But when you breathe consciously, you are in touch with everything that is in the mystical realm of experience. So then when you take a deep breath, you actually take a pause before you exhale, and in those moments you realize that there's vast worlds of magic that are going on. That is so-called doing nothing in today's society, but in reality it's doing something very important for our spiritual growth. So our breath, and then we are healing, we are resting, and we are healing. Today I am tired, and it's only, if it is 1 o'clock, it's 1 o'clock. No, it's 12 o'clock. And we had a wonderful busy morning with Dean Holland, my mentor, who is one of my favorite people, really. He really values taking care of his students, and actually we've become friends, all of us. He has an amazing community of people who are connecting. We're getting to know people. There's more and more people coming into the program, and then there are people who are leaving the program. But the most important thing we can do is support each other. Now, there are other communities out there that I am a member of too, but this one I have come to value very deeply. So that was a 3-hour session, and then yesterday I spent the day at a hospital with a friend, and that was rather intense to say the least for me. Being in the hospital again, and 40 years as a nurse, and watching the people who were coming in for surgery did not look healthy. And that's not a judgment, it's just an observation. And I have noticed that people are not as healthy as they used to be when I first started my career as a nurse. When we were helping people deliver babies years ago, they were healthier than they are now. Then we have more and more diabetic patients, more and more people who are sedentary, and that creates a whole host of imbalance in the body. So resting and healing, and since I am a little tired today, I will lay down and meditate and possibly rewatch The Source, Joe Dispenza's Source, which I discussed yesterday. The Source is his project to scientifically prove how this breathing, coherent breathing, is the most healing thing you can do, because you're making a connection between the heart and the brain, a coherent connection with the heart and the brain. And the scientists have gotten in on it, and they are measuring EEGs and EKGs, and it's amazing thing. So we cultivate mindfulness when we breathe. We cultivate mindfulness when we are seemingly doing nothing. We are living in the present moment. And in this restorative period, we can get back to being productive in a way that we may not have been able to do before we were resting and before we were doing so-called nothing. When we meditate, it is a practice and a discipline. The word discipline in our society has a rather negative connotation, but as Marianne Williamson has pointed out over the years, that the word discipline, the root of that word is disciple. So we are, putting forth an attitude of dedication to our higher power, to our higher selves, And we are putting out that vibration in a spirit of discipline, and that is our disciple. Doing nothing is not the same as being lazy. It takes practice and discipline to do nothing. And what that means is you sit down to meditate, and suddenly you remember that there's a message that you should be looking at on your cell phone, or you hear a little bing bing telling you that somebody has written to you, or all of a sudden you remember that you really should be doing something else, or really you shouldn't be doing something else. You've decided to sit and to breathe, and that is what you're doing, and that is a practice and a discipline. It takes practice and discipline to do nothing for just the reasons I said. The effort and practice required to truly embrace doing nothing is a real spiritual practice. It is a real way to strengthen your focus and strengthen your ability to be productive, and to also get rid of procrastination. Because when you are focusing, you get into a zone, you lose time, and those things are wonderful for your feelings of inspiration and creativity. And when we do nothing, we are actually truly alive in the present moment. Doing nothing is a way of stopping, pausing, and being truly alive in the present moment. So the more times that we pause during the course of any given day, we pause. I like to take gratitude pauses. The joy and fulfillment of living in the present moment is what suddenly happens to our consciousness. We feel this in the moment feeling that there's no reason to worry about anything. Worry is counterproductive to living a fully joyous life. So, we need to realize that doing nothing is a revolutionary act, that when you do sit down to breathe, you feel alive. You feel alive. You're not rushing. You're not worrying. And also all these lower vibrational fields go away. And then the more you lift yourself up, you have forgiveness. You feel joy. You feel unconditional love. And you feel gratitude. And so as we go forth into feeling the joy of the moment and feeling a sovereignty of awakening, doing nothing is a way of being sovereign unto oneself and using the present moment as a seat of awakening. The empowerment and awakening that comes from reclaiming the present moment is exactly what doing nothing is all about. So here we go. Pretty soon there's going to be a film that comes up here. Take a look at it and enjoy.